Hello, testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. No, testing, testing, testing. I think we've got it back. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? I don't know why. Somehow it defaulted me out. Maybe it was due to Telegram. Oh, great. Everyone says yes. Good, good. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Somehow it skipped my mic out. So maybe it was a Telegram thing when I allowed sound there. Weird, 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 weird. Hey, at least you guys can hear me now. It wasn't quite the start I'd anticipated, but hey, look, we're going to get into obviously our usual setup and talk about the stock market. Then we get into Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pulsechain, HEX, and of course Mafia. That's we're going to be a big update on Mafia. We're going to then jump into TitanX, Shogun, and then we're going to jump over to Bitcoin, the dog again. And then we're going to talk about XEN and X1. So many of the cool ones here in play there. Are you still buying EHEX? Yeah, EHEX is all right on the menu. Obviously, we're a maxi Pulsechain on this channel, so that's not changed. We'll talk about a lot of other cool stuff, but Pulsechain, HEX, those are no-brainers. Those are no-brainers. So that's pretty much the been the thing for years now, years. Yeah, all good for accumulation. Obviously, not financial advice, due diligence, all the good stuff, but yes, that is the answer. Yeah, I was trying to read this out. Was it Stradbroke Island? Big shout out there, Arthur. Good to see you in the house. All right, so and we got Wookie there too, so it's kind of cool. All right, let us know. Get into it. Let's start off with the markets there, and I think we did have the stock market open on Friday. Pretty sure. So I think we've got some results there. So let's have a look. We've got stock market there ends the week higher despite technology wrecking from the rise there. That's what it says, but no, it looks pretty down to me, this title. So it looks like we got down on the Dow Jones, 0.75%, down on the S&P 500, 1.1%, and down on the Nasdaq, 1.5%. So a bit of a cooling off there at the end of the week there. Yeah, tech pressured by higher treasury yields apparently. So Apple, Tesla, Alphabet. So yeah, just the way it goes. The rise in long-term yields most reflects a stronger growth outlook, but could also signal concern about inflation and federal budget deficit. Now, I don't really take much note of that because we know Trump's coming in and things are going to get back to common sense. The adults are back in the room. So let's get into it. He's got some super smart people around him. It's going to be very, very good on all fronts. It's going to be nice. So we've got 4 weeks and 4 days to go, 9 hours until the next interest rate meeting. We're expecting a no change, 89%. Expecting a no change in January for that. So don't expect any interest rate bump there. But, you know, we might get one in March at the moment, 41%. That's kind of where we are at this stage. All right, so let's jump over to crypto. Bitcoin having a bit of a breather, 49,500 down 1.75%. This is a very strong position. Very much liking it. 55.61% on the dominance. We've got Ethereum there at 3,325. Boy, that has been volatile recently. That is pretty much flat today. Down 0.25%. XRP down 1%, $2.14. Solana down 2.15% or $185. But we have BNB's pretty much flat, $691. ADA there is up 1.76%, 87 cents, and Tron is up 2.27% at 26 cents. Let's have a look at Litecoin. Litecoin down 1%, but still over $100, $100.79 on the old Litecoin there. So that is the market at the moment, just kind of chilling around. Let's have a look at Bitcoin on the zoom in. You guys know this is our forecast chart, and it's still looking very good indeed. Look at that. Isn't that pretty good? It's pretty good indeed. I'm not sure why this doesn't go out to, why haven't I got that going out to the 31st? It's supposed to go out there. So we're still chilling pretty well, and we're above the 50-day moving average on the Bitcoin. So, you know, pretty good. The prediction model worked very well. Now, it's based on, you know, 870-day Bitcoin cycle there, and it's going very well indeed. We're towards the end of that, right, in terms of the altcoin seasons. Altcoin season is pretty imminent in this chart, based on my view. This is kind of a bit of a bear trap before we get that little, that big altcoin season there. That's kind of my considerations on that one. Now, we've got some very bullish, very smart people in the industry expecting this 150, 180 to $250,000 this year. It's not just Richard Hart that's expecting that. Now, this 150, 180K is by early April here. So that's kind of the zone there. That would technically be the end of the cycle, but we're expecting big things in 25, right? Probably double top, get this $250,000 mark by the end of the year. So yeah, game on, right? And why do we have confidence in that? Why do we have confidence that? Well, we've got the perfect lineup. There is no better lineup that we could have dreamed of for crypto. Crypto is still a very small market cap. We're talking about 3.3 trillion. And of course, we're just getting corporates now, sovereign states now coming in behind crypto. It will be very interesting, the news coming out from Trump administration in the new year around any use of Congress to change the laws around the Fed, or whether he just does it by executive order around strategic reserves there and using some of the mechanisms into the Federal Reserve. So we're going to see how it all plays out. But nevertheless, perfect lineup. ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum ETFs, corporates now coming on, superannuations, global tech firms, sovereign states. You can't ask for a better lineup, right? So we've got high confidence for 2025. And now we're going to have, with the Trump administration, good financial management and hopefully a reordering of the world back to the people. And that should be a good thing. All right, so destroy the left and the progressives. That'll be the best outcome to save the West. Well, we're not only going to be able to save so much of the West because they've done a lot of destruction, but at least it's going to be a good 4 years, a lot better 4 years than it would otherwise be. All right, let's jump into Bitcoin returns. We got Bitcoin returns at negative 1.8% for December. Remember, last year we had 12%, 2020 we had 47%, and 2017 we had 39%, and 2016 31% there. So we didn't get a big, so far haven't got our big 30-40%. But you guys know crypto, we've only got 3 days to go, so maybe January is that month where we get some big returns. Now in 23 we had a 39% yield in January, so fingers crossed that we get some big movement there. All right, so let's see if we can get January, February, March chugging those big numbers. It's looking good for it, right? Looking good for it. The halving here, we're still waiting for the banana part of the run, right? So these are the previous Bitcoin halvings: 2012, 2016, 17, and of course 2020 there, into 21. So we're still waiting for that big banana part. You can see it's just starting, right? Just starting. We're in this awkward little pullback space. You see that previously in previous pullbacks, right? When we had the banana move, we do have little pullbacks on the way. Look at that. So even back in 2017 here, we had a couple here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the way to Gloria. So there was at least 5 in there. So just remember that there are little pullbacks on the way. 2021 only had really, maybe what we say here, 1, 2, 3 on there. And of course we had that big double top, right? And of course here, we're only really just getting warmed up, I think, really just getting warmed up. And of course we're heading to, 250. That's 150K more on the Bitcoin top for 25. So I think it's going to be fun, and we're expecting a lot of that in first half of the year, particularly the first couple of months, January, February, March, maybe April even. So bring it on. Let's see. Remember, Bitcoin. Trump's inauguration is the 20th of January. So getting closer to that. Ethereum is below the 50-day, but still looking pretty good here as well. Above the 200-day, which is at 3,060. The 50-day is currently at 3,431, but just below that by $100 or so. So I think Ethereum is still looking pretty good, and altcoin season does look like it is getting, we're on the doorstep of it pretty much. We have had some nice little runs, but getting that big move where we get, huge gains every single day for day after day after day, that is coming. All right, so Pulsechain, let's get to that. But before we do, have we got any more comments? We've got Hex Vader in house there. What's up, homies? Good to see Hex Vader and Big Kahuna as well. Big shout out to you, and a Hex Token channel member as well, representing. Big shout out to you. Don't forget to use your little emojis, and Big Kahuna did use the little rockets there. I love it. All right, so let's get into the day. We got day 595 on Pulsechain. Can you believe it? We're almost 600 days. 5 more days to go. Quadruple 0573 down 1%. We're sitting at 57% of the main sacrifice price. Pulsechain is at quadruple 0376 down 1.5%. That is obviously sitting at 37%. So there is a lot of upside to Pulsechain and Pulsechain. When it runs, it's going to run. It's going to be pretty awesome and magical. And we've got a number of catalysts that we're looking forward to, right? Obviously, we've got the court case sitting over our heads. Now, we did have between 30 and 90 days. That probably takes us towards the end of January. And so it does look like January is going to be when we get news about that at this stage, at least. So, January could be a bit of an overhang over the chain, but it may very well move anyway. We shall see. I'm expecting something maybe New Year's could be quite nice. Let's see what happens there. Christmas wasn't too bad, was it? So we've got the buy and burn sitting at 1,168 or 169 billion there. 5.85% of the Pulsechain is bought up and burned, and we have had some big burns lately, right, with all the big volume, especially with Pulsechain getting some big days. What was it, up 80 million or something on the day, something like that. So it's been pretty. In fact, I think we did over 100 million, didn't we? My memory is losing me, but I think that was the case. We got incentive there at $2.19, down 2.6%. The ratio has dropped a little bit, 38,225 pulse. Remember, it was closer to 39, 40,000. Over 50,000, 50 million in supply at the moment. Those yields on the Pulsechain farms, amazing, right? Just ticking away, very, very good there. And of course, HEX at 1.69 cents, down 30%. EHEX at 3,500, a penny, nice little pullback. So for Jay Perry that asked about EHEX, yeah, definitely in the play there. Now, I know that Atropa Dev, James Maria is keen on a parity peg to EHEX and PHEX. Now, I know a lot of people think that narrative is over in the sense that they won't peg to each other, EHEX, PHEX. I know Richard is obviously saying that the market's chosen in Pulsechain, and we do know obviously the magic cut right on Pulsechain, etc. But the law of convergence can play out, and we could see some OA activity on HEX. Despite that, who knows? As well as market makers as well. So I think there is a pretty strong narrative. We know that BankX is down to 200 million HEX the last time I checked. So there could be some potential for that narrative still to play out. So in any case, we could see a pretty high percentage comparison, like maybe get to 70% of PHEX, something like that. So but I think the 1-to-1 still has some legs to it. So we're going to keep a lookout for that too. In any case, when the altcoin season hits, it's probably going to run. If Pulsechain runs, then it's going to run. What else? Let's jump over here to that is pretty much a day 395. Let's quickly look at the gas prices. 600,000 beats, so a little bit high. 1 cent for a Pulsechain swap, but still 390 times cheaper than Ethereum. And Ethereum is actually at 4 Gwei at the moment, which is a nice little relief for you guys, especially if you're doing ending HEX stakes or doing some Zen mints or something like that, or ending Zen mints. Validators, 45,000 validators. It's been pretty solid, that number. Full DeFi chain, of course. And the bridge down a little bit there, 138.9 million, but still looking pretty strong in this number here. Remember, we got down, what did we get down to? Like 60 million or something. So we're doing pretty well there. The DAI is definitely down a couple $1 million, 38 million. Ether still holding but around 30 million. EHEX obviously down a little bit there. Coast still staying strong at 7.25 million. And a Bitcoin obviously just down a tad. So that's kind of where we are at the moment on the old Pulsechain. So look at the volumes, $34.5 million in total volume on Pulsechain the last 24 hours, and almost 480,000 transactions. So we've added probably 150 to 200,000 transactions per day onto Pulsechain. I think that's pretty good. So very, very nice on that one. What else? Let's have a look at some of the top performers. Now, obviously, I'm not endorsing any of these. They're just ones that are ranked. But we do have 13 hours ago, this Poppy the Bill got launched, and that's up 76,000%, 42K in liquidity. Haven't checked the safety of that, so just take care out there. We got Linker out there. It's been around for 11 days. It's up 100%, basically a 2x overnight. Now, our first utility, 9MM, as you guys know, is number 3 exchange. You can see the exchange rankings at the top here. It's number 3, and it's actually made a bit of a move, 4.4 cents, up 11%. Still market 4.3 million. So we have big moves on that one, but nice to see it on the trending. Now, this is 6-hour trending, right? Hatchy there, I've been around for 2 months. That's up 11%. Free Soul there, up 10%. So those are kind of the ones over 10%, and I'm going to probably just stick to those at the moment. Let's see if there's any other honorable mentions. Well, there's Mafia. We're going to talk about that. That's up 6% almost. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. Atropa there is up 3.4%. That is on the move as well. And Time, a Die Hard there, and Time are both in positive as well. So, a little bit of movement there, as well as SolidX. Now, SolidX still waiting for that game, right? That crash game from Eric from DragonX. So a little bit delayed there. We were expecting it December potentially, but maybe obviously moving into January is most likely now. Wookie's in there. Hey guys, good to see you, Wookie. Wookie's in the house. All right, so that is pretty much it overall. Let's jump into Pulse Mafia and BNB Mafia because this is the talk of the town. The first metaverse on Pulsechain. Now, we looked at BNB. So we look at BNB first because that launched slightly earlier and was a little bit more smoother, but now it's pretty smooth. I must say there are obviously a few little data table connections issues, still a little bit of that going on, but actually things are coming up pretty well, and they've made this. This is what I asked for. This is what I asked for. I said, can we just click on the map and get a list of all the cities? And that's what they've done. So there we go. Front run that one. All right. So at the moment on the old BNB chain, let me just refresh this just to make sure we got the latest and greatest. This is BNB map. All right. So let me just post this in the chat there if you guys want to participate. Remember, it's very cheap to get into the game. Only 2,000 Mafia on BNB and Pulsechain. They're playing on both games, obviously 2 different maps, but that is the BNB one. Very cheap prices at the moment before they run away. They get on Mafia as well, so don't forget that. I'll post the charts to that. But at the moment, we've got 398 tiles. Las Vegas sitting at worth #1 there. So they are sitting at the top. Their original gangsters on BNB. Bob Tiller the Hunt is the city developer. That means that they've got the most developments and they're pretty powerful in that situation. 265 buildings, and that says here they've got 4 million Mafia stake. Now, I'm presuming that all this data is connected correctly, so is reading correctly on that one. Now, obviously, the talk of the town yesterday was Chicago, and you guys know my family, the directorate, one of those, the allegiance is called the directorate. One of the families is the syndicate, and it came into Chicago, and it ate up all the tiles. There are no tiles available for sale. Obviously, there's a few other families in there that are risking their lives. But apart from that, it is in play. And we've got here building 619 and 35 players in there. Now, if you're in another family, if you're not in the directorate allegiance, you saw the power of our family. And of course, our family makes fear real. And you can see that when you mess around with us, you can see how effective our family is. And all hail Don Archie, the Don of Dons. And of course, Max Payne out there crushing it with recruitment and organization. So you guys got to know you're not mucking around with the syndicate and with the rest of the directorate families. You have seen the power of our family and should take note. Now, we like to play fair. So, you make agreements. We'll play those fair. But if you turn on us, boy, oh boy, you've seen how powerful we are. Be careful. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. All right, so we got Medellin is #3 out there at the moment. We got Elon Muskie there. Now, we saw Elon Muskie on a cold DeFi show the other day. There's 130 buildings in there, so he did come in and do some buying. What else there? We got the Black Thistles in #4. I'm not sure why there's no name in the middle. I guess there's no family that's taken over there. It's a bit weird. Maybe none of the HQs have been shown up there. We got the Black Thistles, #4 there is in Bogota, and the 64 of those. Looks like city developer is Stone Gustoni. We've got Messina there, by the Messinas, so they did well there. 32 buildings in there. Furious is the developer. We've got Palamoni there is the OG Sopranos, and we've got Dollface leading that. 5 buildings. It's the syndicate in New York. Now, obviously, the syndicate is in Chicago. Syndicate is also in New York, the city of dreams, and it is Icepick is the developer there, and we've got 43 buildings in there at the moment. So some interesting things happening over on BNB. The Warriors in Caracas, 9 buildings, and of course the Gypto there is the developer. The Napoli there, the Mugnaus are control, 32 buildings. Don Mugnow there, and of course Miami, the OG Sopranos, 26 buildings. Newgate is developer. Finally, Detroit, the Black Thistles, and Stone Gustoni there, also developer. So the Black Thistles doing pretty well in their Bogani and Detroit strategy at the moment, but very low buildings in Detroit, but quite a few in the Bogota there. Now, obviously, the dominance on BNB is the directorate and the syndicate, also in New York as well. Keep a lookout for that, but that's doing very well indeed. Now, let's go to the players and families. We can see that the Vault access is not showing up correctly, so if you're worried about that, we understand that that's going to be changed around. So obviously, if you're in the directorate, do not worry about that. That will be taken care of on the families list there. So that is pretty much it. Now, if you want to open the map, obviously you need to go to the exchange. You need to pick up some keys. So you go to the keys there, exchange/keys, and then you can get some balance in your wallet, and you can select any of these tokens here, BNB, Mafia, USD, Tether, and you can buy some keys, right? And you get some bonuses if you get up over $400. You get 5% bonus, etc. It goes up and up and up there, and that's how you get keys. So you get those keys. Then you can go to the map. So that's step number one. Get the keys. You got to connect your wallet, of course, have some BNB US stable coins or something. Then go to the map. And you can find yourself a map. Let's find Medellin here. Maybe you're going to Medellin and you want to get some properties there. Then Medellin will pop up. You've got those keys, right? You've got those keys. That was step one. Step two will be selecting the city, and you've done that. We selected Medellin, right? And then you're going to hit the claim land, right? So claim land. Now, I don't have any crates in this profile, but if you did, you would have crates there, and you would be able to open up a land tile and get all the animation. The animation is very cool. The animation will basically go through all the different areas. So what areas are there? Well, there's strategic, common, upper, and elite. Obviously, elite is, one's after that, and some people are after strategic as well, and so on. So there we go. That is the types. And once you've done that, it will, show a little animation on top of those areas. Once it's selected a rarity zone or an area like this common zone, this is kind of the common zone. This will be probably the upper zone. So that's kind of the play that you want. And then it will then select a building, right? It's going to give you some building. Now, typically, you're going to end up with nothing, right? So it's going to be, there'll be nothing on there. Like this one here, it's an empty tile. There is nothing on it. So you have to upgrade and develop those with in-game cash and stake some Mafia, right? That's kind of the play. But if you're lucky, you might end up, winning a tile that actually has a development. This one here has a villa on it. This one here. So you might end up winning a villa. So that'd be very, very good. Now, obviously, villas have a bigger defense, right? Bigger defense on this is 17. So that'd be very cool. If you just got a shed is below a villa, then that would have only 7 on the defense there as well. Now, obviously, the buildings there, you're going to start off, you might get a empty tile, or you might get a shed, you might get a house, you might get a villa, you might get an apartment, and you might get a mansion, you might get an office. Now, once you start getting to offices, then you can start earning some share of the inflation of the city every day, right? So you start earning some in-game cash with an office, with a hotel. You start earning in-game cash as well. So if you're wondering about how to earn in-game cash, you've got to get up to those development levels, which would be pretty cool. Now we can select a building type. Let's go select some offices and see if there's any of those around. Looks like we've got an office over here. So on this area, there's not a lot of properties on this map, so there's still a lot available to get. Now this one here is an office. So click on that. So this person here has already earned 11,000 in-game currency. This is Elon Muskie here, who was on Cult DeFi show. So 11,000 there. So that's ticking away there on that. So it's kind of cool. Let's see if we can find a hotel. Yeah, everyone's after a hotel. A hotel's like Holy Grail. I'm not sure if there's a hotel on here. Doesn't appear to be at this stage. Can't see one unless I'm missing it. No, I can't see one there. So those are the kind of ideas. That's all you have to do. You just click that claim. Once you've got keys, select the city and then open up your keys. And if you haven't gotten any, it's going to ask you to purchase a crate, and you click that, and you can, if you got enough currency, you can go and do that. So kind of cool. So that is that. Let's jump over. That is BNB. But like I say, let's go have a quick look at our family in Chicago. It is doing very well, and look at that, beautiful, right? Beautiful Chicago, looking very, very good. So that map is pretty much sold out, and looking very, very good indeed. So that is BNB. That is BNB. Let's see who else has jumped in the chat here. We've got Wookie says it never pays to not agree with the Wookie. Indeed. And we've got Hexvad as well. Deck chair says Hexvad. I'm not sure what that's about, but hopefully you're sitting on one in the winter there. All right, so let's get on to Pulsechain, Pulse Mafia. I'm going to post the map there if you want to get in there. Like I say, only 2,000 Mafia to set up a player. Join a family. And of course, you can join the directorate. Just go to the directorate page and go to apply. So yeah, pulsemafia.map. That is Pulsechain. All right, let's go over to the map here. Now I'm going to refresh this because let's just make sure we've got the latest and greatest. Now this on Pulsechain, obviously, this is going to be highly competitive. We've got a few more families competing quite aggressively. On B&B we had the OGs, the Black Thistles, and the directorate, which I'm the consigliere of, right? And of course here on Pulsechain we have the syndicate, which is part of the directorate. The Yakuza is part of the directorate. Then we have the gearheads, right? So gearheads, well-known gearheads, and of course some big personalities in them. We've obviously got the Salamanca's over here as well, playing in the game here, but there are many families in the game. In fact, let's check how many. There's a lot, right? A lot of families, right? So, but how many are going to end up dominating? There's 25 families. How many will end up dominating the game? As you can see. Now, just once again, ignore the vault access for the time being, because it does need a bit of an update there. That is going to be dealt with in due course. Now, looking at the map, what do we got? New York, the city of dreams. That is controlled by us. That's right. The syndicate, part of the directorate allegiance or alliance, depending on how you say that. And we got 11 tiles left, so it's almost gone, Burger. They're basically all gone. Trigger Happy, big shout out to Trigger Happy, is the developer there. 706 buildings, and that is looking pretty good, right? So let's quickly look in there and see how that's going. So tick tock. Now there is within cities, there are strategies within cities that you can think about. So even with the cities, there is this is strategies to be done, particularly around development and things. But the city is pretty much built out. Like it's not built out yet, but you're going to see more buildings rise over time, and particularly in this game. So it's going to be pretty fun to see that play out. Let's go back to the map here. And let's go in there. So that is pretty much that. Top of the worth there, 208,000. So you can see how that doesn't really match the families list there and the vault payouts. Now, this one here, you'll notice that once we get to a certain amount of tiles, it changes color from green to orange to red. Just taking that into account. Now, Gearheads there come in Las Vegas, and they have got 29 players in there, 663 buildings. And let's have a quick look at Las Vegas. They got the strip in Las Vegas, so let's see how they're going. Bam. So kind of cool. Let's have a look there. That is Las Vegas. Oh, that's different actually from the other Las Vegas map. I don't know. Oh no, that is the strip. There's the strip down here. That is the strip, right? So they got the strip there, and definitely they've been developing here. So kind of cool. Kind of cool to see that. You can see their buildings, right? So detective agency here. Now, obviously, you got these. You got in-game buildings, right? So you got these business objects. So you can actually highlight those, right? So you can highlight the business objects. See how they're all highlighted? You just click the filter, and you can see that one there is a detective agency with the Trump family, right? Trump family. This one here is a booze warehouse with the Gearheads, owned by Gifford Ware, who's the don of that family, if I remember rightly. And we got this one here. Gifford Ware owns the hospital there too. So kind of cool. And we got what's this one here? Let's have a look over this one. We've got the bank that's owned by Tokyo, so you can sort of see the different businesses. Now we can also obviously select non-businesses. Let's see if there's only hotels here. There is a hotel. Maybe we didn't see a hotel in the other map on B&B, but there is a hotel here. Let me just screen on here. So that is the hotel, and that's what it looks like. So pretty big. It's got some trees on the top apparently, but that is let's see what that's earning. 10,000 yield so far on that one. Defense is 100, so defense not too bad. And of course, the more you got connectors, the probably the more effective that will be in the defense is my guess. So kind of cool. Let's see what else we got on here. So we're gonna have a look at what are offices. Let's have a look. Oh, they got lots of offices. Look at this. Woohoo! So they're upgrading big time to the offices. So there we go. And of course, let's have a look at how much that one's earning. 21,000 there on the office there. Let's have a look at this one. 21,000 there as well. This one here, 5,000. So some of them more recently upgraded. 5,000 on that one. 5,000 in there. So those are the offices. Let's have a look at the mansions. Now mansions, we only got not that many mansions left because they've been upgrading them, haven't they? They've been upgrading their mansions. And that one there is earning 16. Actually, that one got yield on that one. You can't earn yield on mansion. Okay, you can earn yield on mansion. Let's go to apartment. Oh, that's right, apartments upwards, isn't it? From that you earn yield. Yeah, apartments upwards. So I said earlier, what did I say earlier? I said offices. So it is apartment upwards. Actually, did I say apartments? Maybe I did. No, I can't remember now. But apartments upwards is where you earn yield in terms of in-game cash. But once we go to villas, they won't be earning anything. Yeah, no villas earning anything there. So you do need to upgrade your buildings to at least an apartment, right, to start earning in-game currency there. So very important. Now you can also filter by allegiances. You can also filter by families as well. So it's kind of cool like that. You can also click my buildings and my HQ. You can do that as well. Pretty neat. Let's see what else there. Jordan says, "Could you check this?" No, I'm not really checking stuff like that. I've got a sort of a thing to run there, Jordan. But I appreciate your comment. Let's jump over to that. So that is Mafia. Let's have a quick look at everything else. So once again, if you want to get a player, you can go make a player, right? You can create a player. You can even create your own family, right? You can create your own family and do that. You just have to connect your wallet up, etc. What else there? The families here, the player families. These will probably be updated. At least the families list will probably be updated and Vault Access adjusted properly. So that's to be done. Jacob's aware of that. The map is looking real good. It's working real nice now. So get into that. And if you use a Ravi wallet, particularly good as opposed to MetaMask. So definitely consider that. Yeah, it looks like everything is the user experience. Really, excuse me, got hiccups. Really starting to do much better there now. So let me have a little drink. Once again, some of the other features is you can open up in-game crates using keys. If you want to get any one of these different in-game assets, people, once the game starts, still going to need guns and things like that. You can also obviously use the exchange. The exchange has a number of features. You can deposit and withdraw liquidity. So deposit, you can buy in-game cash here. So if you need in-game cash, you can use all sorts of tokens to do that. If you want to withdraw, you can also withdraw as well. We can see that actually price here on in-game cash is actually rising on Pulse Mafia. So people, the ratio has gone down. So it looks like it's getting down to 47 or something. So we're seeing a run on in-game cash. Not surprising, because you do need in-game cash to upgrade, right? If you're going to upgrade your buildings, you need in-game cash as well as Mafia to stake that at the same time. So very clever tokenomics there. Very important. Now you can also convert in-game items as well. And of course, you can do over-the-counter trades in here. Looks like we've only got a business that's trading at the moment. So that's closing out. And of course, you can buy keys, right? You can buy keys as well. So keys, you can, like I say, buy keys in here. And you need the keys to open up, land on the map. So remember that. So if you're going to open up land, you need that. And then click the city that you want to open up a land in. Like, for example, if you want to go into Detroit, there's not many in Detroit at the moment. You might be lucky. You might get an office building or a hotel. So pretty cool. All you have to do is click land claim land with your key. That's it. That's it. One button. Once you've chosen the city, you can click land claim. And if you've got a key or crate in there, key crate, it will open that up there for you. All right. And the animation is pretty cool. I don't think I've got any keys at the moment, so I can't show you that. Let's see what else we got going. So that is looking pretty good. Let's look at the market prices. What else haven't I talked about? Now, if you want to find out more information, there's a game wiki there, so click that. The vaults are getting bigger, of course, because people are funding these with the vaults. So you can see we've had a big uplift in keys being claimed, so massive run on that for the map. And we've also got a new thing here, land crates. So land crates there opening up pretty strong too. So kind of cool. It's up to $30,000 already. Can you believe it? That's some pretty cool stuff. So going pretty well. That's just on Pulsechain. What else? Now, if you're going to buy or sell Mafia, this is the contract on Pulsechain. There's a 4.7% buy tax and a 16.6% sell tax. You need to put your slippage at 5% and 20% respectively on those to get them running through. I particularly like Dex. You can use Dex Screener, but PulseX I've found works pretty well. So yeah, I think that works pretty well there on that one, and maybe Go Pulse as well. Is that it? Is that all I was going to say? I think so. Let's jump over to the prices. We are getting a bit of a run on Mafia now. So let's have a look at the two prices here. The prices have just started to move as well as we saw in game, right? In fact, we're going to come back to that in a minute. But let's have a look at the 4-hourly chart on Mafia on BNB. So we have got an 8% rise here at the moment. So we're getting a little bit of a rise here. Let's go to the daily chart and have a look at that. So very volatile chart, but we are starting to see some movement with the Mafia map now. You remember, you need Mafia to stake, right? So a lot of Mafia is already staked in the families. So there's actually not that much Mafia floating around. So this will take a little bit of demand here with the map as people go to develop their properties, and we could see a bit of a run here or going on the map well before the game even launches. So there we go. All right, so that is kind of cool. When does the game launch? Well, we're expecting Q1, right? Q1 sometime now. So trying to be pragmatic with the time frame there. All right, so let's have a look at the Pulsechain, Pulsechain Mafia. So if you want to get up BNB Mafia, I'll post that link in the chat there. You will need 2,000 Mafia to set up a player. So you will have to buy a bit of Mafia on Pulsechain if you're going to do that. It's only 2,000, so it won't cost you much at all to do that. Probably $1 or something, who knows. Let's have a look on Pulsechain. Sorry, on BNB. We've got the chart here. Which one was that one? Was that Pulsechain? Yeah, that's Pulsechain there. So Pulsechain price is at 11/100th of a penny, and the Mafia price there ticking away. That is the Mafia price there, even cheaper, right? So 00035, but we had a real nice move today. Look at that, looking really, really good. So that's looking pretty cool. That is BNB Mafia, and it's just starting to move. Let me post that chat as well. All right, bam. There's the BNB Mafia. So go for gold. Go for gold. Now let's quickly check. I was going to just quickly check the in-game. Let's go check the in-game on that because I forgot to do that on here. So let's go to exchange and let's go to the price for in-game cash. The price for in-game cash is just broken out. So it was sitting at around 20. Was it 21 here? It is now gone up. So in-game cash is more valuable. It's now gone up to 11.6 and maybe even going up higher there. Yeah. What's that? 11.6 at the moment. So we've had almost a 2x in price overnight. In fact, it's only been the last few hours. So that is very exciting to see. So yeah, game on happening over on there. So because people need in-game cash for playing on Mafia, and apparently on BNB there is relatively less. And we already see that moving on Pulsechain too. So some pretty cool stuff happening. Just the beginning is my guess. Nice and early. It's good to be an early on something. And that is pretty much that. So kind of cool. Now let's jump over to the dog token. That's our BNB, our Mafia coverage. That you guys enjoyed that. Now we're going to get into the BNB. Into the meme coins, which I forgot to talk about earlier, but we're going to talk about dog. So at the moment, Dodge is sitting at 45.7 billion. Pretty down 2.4% for the week and down 0.5% today. A bit of mixed results there. Looks like Pengu's airdrop had 2.1 billion, up 20% for the week, down 11% today. So still holding pretty strong, that Pengu airdrop. Dog with Hat down 13.6%. So a little bit of opportunity there. Let's see, we've got this new one here, A116Z. I haven't actually seen that yet, but that's up 27%, up about $1 billion. Probably another centralized exchange dump fest, but who knows? We'll see. You can check that out. Fartcoin down 18% as well. Let's have a look here. SPX up 15%. What else is looking pretty interesting? Turbo up to 13%. Now, Dog is the one we're picking for the win. It is on discount at the moment, 624 million. Has failed twice now to beat out $1 billion, but it doesn't have a tier 1 centralized spot listing. It does have two perpetual listings, though, on OKX and KuCoin, I think, are the two exchanges. And that was the last rally. So, but the holder count is going up. It must be at 100K by now. It's getting very high indeed. So when this runs, it's going to run the #1 meme coin on Bitcoin. Makes sense. And of course, getting integration with centralized exchanges with the Runes protocol, which is built on top of Bitcoin. Very important there. So another good opportunity to pick in on the old dog. Woof, 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 woof on Bitcoin. All right. When it goes, it's going to go. It's going to go pretty hardcore. All right, that is pretty much it on the Pulsechain and crypto science. We're going to get into TitanX, Shogun, and XEN and X28 next. New Mind says, thank you, Hexstone, for sharing with us as always. You're most welcome. Most welcome indeed. Let's get into it. So let's change out some of these tables and pull in one of the others here. All right, let's pick up one of these. We are going into TitanX Shogun. Now, obviously, TitanX is still consolidating, still pulling back. We are starting to see some green candles now on particular projects, so that's a good sign. Obviously, we're waiting for TitanX is the one that really needs to go. It is the medium of exchange, the entry or the layer 1 into the TitanX ecosystem. And of course, we got X28 there now, which is kind of the omni-chain or multi-chain version of a TitanX. So it has been on a consolidation phase, but it has been burning off, let's say, give or take 300,000 a day, give or take, plus or minus. But it is burning off the supply. It is burning off the supply slowly and surely. Some days are bigger than others, but it's definitely doing, say, 300K a day. So regardless of people selling, obviously prices go up when there's more buying than selling, right? But some of that buying that's happening at the moment is bots, right? So bots in the contracts, buying burns and things like that in the contracts, and they are eating up the supply. So even when you got more sellers, you're just waiting for that sort of exhaustion to happen, and then eventually the bots take over, kind of thing. That's kind of the idea. It's a bit like the Terminator taking over the world, sort of thing. Now, at the moment, we got the Matrix as the top at the moment, up 9% for 24 hours. We got Eden at the moment is up 16%, Alien X up 15%, Lotus up 13%, Turbo up 11%, and Hyper up 10%. Now, a lot of people are talking about Hydra because Hydra max minting, as well as Hyper, I think to some degree, has come out, and so the buy and burns operating and all the rest of it, and we're probably going to set second layer protocols launching it, like Turbo, for example, launched on top of Hyper, and so did Matrix, if I remember rightly, Matrix as well. Well, the Matrix takes TitanX and ETH, but is beneficial for Hyper. So we're starting to set some moves on that. Now, Volt obviously went down a lot more than a lot of people expected, but that does have the wheel and utilities coming out in January. So that is coming up there. It missed on a few of quite a few of the pillars. Did have a couple of pillars like Turbo and stuff, and Viper. Viper, of course, has been upgraded as well. But that is up 4% today. That could, once it is finished, it seems to have finished the negative in my view. So once it goes, it's going to really have probably a pretty good run there, especially with all that roadmap coming up there. DragonX is up 3.2%. Obviously, DragonX benefiting from the buy and burns and other protocols related to it. We've got Viper there up 2.8%. Baby DragonX up 2.7%. Morpheus, of course, is built on DragonX. And of course, Morpheus, the founder, Brandon, just launched that Switch DEX there. So I'm probably going to talk more about Switch, but that's a really cool alternative. We're going to talk about that. I posted that in Strategy Club. If you haven't joined Strategy Club, links in the video description. $35 a month, good value, and I posted a lot of intel flow into there. Now, obviously, you have to make your own investment decisions because not financial advisors, and no influencer is. Just remember that. All right, we've got Viper down there. So yeah, Phoenix at the moment is up at 30%. So those are all the ones in the green at the 24 hours at the moment. Then we've got Inferno and Scale are pretty flat. TitanX, which is pretty flat as well, just down slightly. X28 as well. So I want to talk about X28 and I want to talk about TitanX because these are the two versions here. So before we move on, let's do that. And TitanX at the moment. So let's have a look at the chart. As you guys know, we did do an Elliott wave and Fibonacci retracement and extension model, right? That's our modeling. So we use those techniques to project the future. And of course, here we are at the moment. We've got plenty of room in the RSI, real chill down at 40 on the old TitanX. And we had this absolutely massive first wave, right? Very good returns here between what we'd say between the 3rd of August and what is that? The 23rd of October. We had a beautiful run of a 10x in the TitanX, right? So 10x, that's a lot of mad money for a lot of people buying as they go up and other people holding. So that was pretty cool. We got up to a price of 5 zeros there. And what do we get up to? 5 zeros, 1600. Then we obviously have had a retrace since then, all the way back down to the zone, right? This zone here. So the zone is between 6 zeros, 4,800 and 6 zeros, 5,900. That's on my support line here. And as you can see, we're still in there. We're still in there. So we're going back, retesting the support line, basically. We've retested it. We originally had resistance here. We broke through that, but we have retested it back here in November, and we're testing it back here mid-December, and now the end of December, we're testing it again. We're still below the 21-day moving average. That yellow line is the 21-day EMA. So that's the exponential moving average. And of course, it weights the last week in particular more than the previous 2 weeks, for example, as it just is a simplified version of that. Now, obviously, we're expecting it to come up and do a third wave. Obviously, we don't know the time frame for that, but we do have we're using the Fibonacci extension to give us a price target for that. And so at the moment, I got that at 5 zeros, 2,700. which we're above where we were at 1600 previous local high. And then, of course, a little bit of retracement on that back to 2000 and then on to target 5 and 4,500. It's kind of the play there. Now, it may overshoot that, may undershoot that. So that's the kind of play. But we're expecting in a hyper deflationary environment, once we do get a move on, that could be fairly aggressive, especially with the huge roadmap and all the bots and tokenomics operating in the system, as well as altcoin season kicking in January, February, March. So that's kind of the background there. So far, we have not yet broken to that upside yet. So looking for some key indicators, breaking the 21 EMA, that yellow line, and also starting to get higher lows, right? So that's kind of what we're looking for. That's all going to happen potentially in here. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. Now, interestingly enough, let's go have a look at the TitanX supply, because that's pretty important. TitanX supply at the moment is 105.7 trillion is the supply. Now, obviously, the system is sitting at 47.17% circulating, and the burn is actually now 52.83%, 118 trillion now. Now, I've got a snapshot of yesterday, so let's pull that up. And I've got the, oh, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Let's pull up the TitanX snapshot. So I had the total yesterday at 105 trillion 872 billion. So we've come down from that, haven't we? A little bit. So actually 72. So we come down, what's that, 60. So 130, about 130 billion since yesterday. We're down on that. So and the circulating supply has gone from 47.23% to 47.17%, which is actually a relatively low day for TitanX, decreasing because it has been bigger than that. But let's give or take, $300,000 at the moment. Now, the other thing is that we had the buy and burn yesterday at 34.7 cents. Now we're at 34.8. What else we got going in there? Liquid was 29.25. Liquid is 29.25, so no change there ultimately. So out of that 105, we've still got 65 trillion 577 billion liquid there. So these are the key metrics that we're looking at, this one here and this one here. So keep looking at that, but they've been going down, generally speaking, every day. So not bad. Some days very aggressively. Now, if we start getting like half percentage points days, that's really what's you should be looking out for, because that's really going to get things moving. Now, we also have this arbitrage model, right, to actually accelerate that. And of course, that's through X28, right? So X28 sitting here. We've got X28 versus TitanX. Let's look at the ratio. So the ratio there is 1.01. And look at this. This is what we want to see, right? We want to see this. This may end up being very critical to the system. So let's have a quick look at that. We're looking at this 1-to-1 ratio, right? So the 1-to-1 ratio, no good for us. We don't want a 1-to-1 ratio. That's why we started off. But what we want is we want to get X28 going to be bigger, right? So we want X28 to be bigger than that. So let's quickly find the 1-to-1 here. I think that's about there. So that's a 1-to-1 ratio, right? So we want it to be above, and we want it to be above because we want people switching TitanX into X28, right? X28 is the omni-chain version. So we do want that to happen. We've got Archie Nelse. Hey, Archie, good to see you. Hi, all. The Don of Dons is in the house for the directorate. Big shout out. Crushing it out there. Crushing his enemies. Crushing his enemies. It's the Archie, the Don. All right. All right. So that is where we are at the moment. So 101. So we want that actually to separate. We want that trend. See that trend? We want that trend to continue. This is the daily trend. We want that to continue. And why do we want that? Well, let's go to the Titan Hub and open up X28, right? So X28 down here at number 4. Now, X28 did take over the total burn. See that? It's past hyper at 8.21 trillion. It's past hyper at 7.9. So we want that to continue, this burn to continue for X28. So these are the little secret sources that are going out there that you may not be aware of, but that's what we want. And let's go have a look at the X28 supply. This is pretty awesome. And so yesterday, the supply was at 5.5% on the liquid supply. It is now 3.44% of X28 is liquid. So that is pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome, right? And also, if you're going to transform TitanX into X28 on the market, well, you're better off doing it through the transform, right? 2.4% benefit going into here than Uniswap, right? So pretty cool. And so, yeah, that is the encouragement, right? So larger players in TitanX being encouraged with this ratio separation to go in, right? So Will we need a certain critical mass of ratio, 1.02 or something like that? We shall see. But already in the app there, they're still getting a better deal at 2.41% if they're after X28, right? So that is kind of cool to go in there. Now, as you guys know, going through Transform, being better than Uniswap is going to be positive, because what do we do? 50% burns the TitanX of the TitanX that goes in there, gets burned. So what's it going to do to TitanX? Well, it's going to lower this circulating liquid supply, right? That's going to be burned off, right? And increase the burn amount to this number, and this number will be affected. And of course, what's the other thing? We want, obviously, with that, we want, obviously, the 50% goes into the buy and burn, right? So TitanX goes in here. We've got 3.7 trillion TitanX sitting in here at the moment, 1.8 million. And of course, that's buying and burning X28, right? So that's pretty exciting. And that's every 15 minutes. And of course, now we've got this ratio going up as well. And of course, we've got the, what do I say? We've got this ratio going up. So this is what we want to see happen. And that should entice some of the bigger players at different intervals to go in and get X28. Now, once we get also second layer protocols launching on X28, that should be even more bullish, right? So not only on Ethereum, it's going to take up that little supply. There's only a little supply, so people are going to have to go in with TitanX to make more of it. And of course, go omni-chain, right? Actually go omni-chain and open up some of those omni-chains. So that's all coming up for the future of this protocol. Now, when does it happen? Well, you know, Jake's talked about 30,000 followers, 30,000 users, sorry, on TitanX, but I suggest it's going to be well before that, because that will take a little bit of quite a bit of advertising and expansion there. We're currently sitting just below 20,000, so I think it's going to happen a lot earlier than that. All right, we shall see what happens there. Now, that's where we are at the moment. Let's get into some of the others. So we've got, obviously, Felix at the moment, down 1%. Tink is down 1%. Now, Tink's sitting at 35%. Now, if you haven't checked out the Tink farms, they are earning some pretty good yield. So let's go down to Tink. And a Tink farm there, along with Pulsechain, I think is just a genius farm, right? Genius farm. Different, running for different mechanics. I would say as a standalone Titan farm is probably the best farm on the planet from that point of view. Look at these yields: 170% in Tink TitanX, 156% in X28 Tink, Volt Tink TitanX, 140%. Fantastic yields on what is arguably hyperdeflation assets, particularly as we ramp up in the bull market and these burns just ticking away. Once we get more second layer protocols on Tink farms and other things, going to be absolutely amazing to see that, right? So exciting times. All right, so that is kind of cool. Now, the one thing I forgot to mention about Hydra, we're going to have PowerX coming out, right? PowerX going to be a referral program, so let's look forward to that coming. It's getting pretty close. What else we got there? Flux down 3%, LegionX down 3%, Blaze down 7%, Element 280 down 8%. Ouroboros, now we're expecting Ouroboros to come, I think, launching maybe mid-January, around there, probably is the target now. I think the audits are coming out next week. And I think, yeah, probably 2 weeks after that. So maybe second week, third week of January, somewhere in there is probably my expectation about Ouroboros. I think they're going to have like a 2-week marketing ramp up. That's massive for the old TitanX ecosystem. Obviously, you're going to be a supply sync for multiple assets, and also add extra demand into the system using stablecoins. So a win-win across the board there. We'll see how that goes. Now, Stacks is down 10% at the moment. Also, X is down 11%. Now, Shogun, of course, is Jake Sharp's magnus opus, and I have been talking about that quite a bit. That is down 14% and 17% respectively on X28 TitanX. So we're going to have to wait and see the next couple of days on that. Key to that is going to be in terms of the volumes and second layer protocols, as well as the X28 leverage that we just talked about, right? This X28 conversion going to be very important as well. So that is where we are on a Shogun, and of course we had we're on the second perpetual or war chest auction. Helios at the moment down 18%, so a big move down there for Helios. Let's jump over to the Shogun and quickly look at that just to wrap up our TitanX ecosystem map. Now, obviously, we had 28 days where the inflation got out. So let's have a look at that inflation, because I've taken a snapshot of that too. And at the moment, we're waiting. So there were unclaimed Shogun, right? There's still some out there. So we were opened up just after the big end of yesterday. So it's probably been how many hours now? Let's say 19 hours, just under 19 hours ago. We had 1,587,000,000 liquid Shogun. Now, obviously, there was, by my counts, about 150 million unclaimed at the time. So we still had to come through that and we have had some of that unclaimed come out overnight, and so that's 1.6 billion is what we're at the moment. Now remember, 2.8 billion was the total inflation, so we're sitting at 1.6 billion liquid at the moment, which is 58.39%, right? So we're at 59.64 yesterday. We're now at 58.39. So just give you that number. So that number liquid has actually gone down percentage, but slightly up in the total liquid there by about 13 million at the moment net. Now I'm not exactly sure how much unclaimed. I'll have to add these up to see that. So I haven't done that here, but maybe we should try it. Yeah, I'm going to find my calculator. So let's have a look here. We've got 1,600. Let's add this up. So bear with me. I thought we'll do this exercise now while we're thinking about it. I keep putting in the wrong number, however. 600 plus a 283 plus a 581 plus a 232 plus a 43. So that's 27. So I reckon, well, actually, we're not too bad. We may only have another 60 million that's not been claimed yet. So that's not too bad. That means we'll probably, one day or two that maybe come out next day or two. But that's the upper limit is probably about 16 million that has not been claimed yet. So we're almost all out. And that's a good thing. That's the first thing you want to have is everything out, or at least mostly out. So maybe some of that doesn't get claimed. Maybe people forget it. Who knows? So we'll see what happens there. And so, yeah, game on. So it's kind of cool. This is playing out exactly pretty similar, pretty close to what I thought. So pretty neat there. Now, the liquidity there has gone up from 274 to 283. The war chest has gone from 527. And remember, this is just after the war chest gets set up. So, yeah, that is pretty cool. And we got 581 there, 581 on that one. So the first war chest that we had yesterday, in fact, I think I got a snapshot of that, was just under 49 million. So that was the first day 29 war chest was 49 million coming in at the moment. Now, obviously, we've got day two. Day two is got what page am I on? Shogun? Yeah, let me just rejig this. It's got 45.8. So we had 14, just on the 49 day one, which is day 29. Now we've got day 30. We're at 45.9. Remember, these are the first two perpetual war chest auctions. So that's quite a bit lower. At the moment, we've got 89 billion in there, 272% on the yield. So we'll keep a lookout on day two results as well. So that's kind of there. Let me have a look at one more. We're going to have a look at the buy and burn. So the buy and burn yesterday was 229.75 million. We're now at 232.8. So what's that gone up? 1, 2, 3 million. It's gone 3 million. So the buy and burn has gone up 3 million. And of course, the war tax has gone from 42.4 to 43. So that's up 600,000. So we're at about 3.6 million on the burn there at the moment. Now, that doesn't include what goes in the war chest. Obviously, we've gone up pretty big from 527 to 581 in the war chest there. Just remember that. Now, obviously, the buy and burn is ticking away. Let's look at the buy and burn. We've got 1.4 trillion Titan X28 in there, and we've still got 341 billion TitanX sitting in the old buy and burn there. So let's have a quick look at that. So we had 349 yesterday. We got 341. We had that's a billion TitanX, and on the X28 we had 1485. We now got 1443. So that's down about just under 40 on the X28. So that is ticking away. So the war chest, so the buy and burn is still operating pretty well. Now remember, the key tokenomics for this are the X28 arbitrage, which we hopefully will see that kick in even more, especially if TitanX starts to recover. Obviously the dollar values. And number two, we've got the buy and burn. Number three, of course, we've got the 8% tax, right? And of course, we've also got LP fees sinking in. And of course, then any second layer protocols on X28 or Shogun in particular would be all bullish. Now, the other thing is that X28, if it gets rallies as well, that could potentially help with lifting the value, right? So on that part. Now, I was going to say one final thing. What was it? So that is the mechanism at the moment. So, yeah, let's keep looking out there. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. I was actually a bit lower, that 60 mil, than I expected. So I thought it was maybe just over 100, but it's actually looking pretty good. So let's keep a lookout for this tomorrow and the next day. Going to be pretty important there. All right, so we're up to an hour and 2 minutes. I think we're going to jump away from there and get into Titan, XEN and XEN. So obviously, Jack Levin. Everyone starts with Jake. Jacob for Mafia. Jacob for Mafia. Jake Sharp for TitanX, and Jack Levin for XEN X29. It's confusing. It's confusing. Crazy people. All right, so we had some cool stuff coming out from Jack Levin. X1 blockchain is getting closer. We're definitely looking like we're getting up to the first quarter of next year for the launch. Now we've got the moon party, which burns in, and all that sort of stuff. We've got lots of things happening on Sol Zen at the moment, with the burnings going really great. The price is starting to rally. So there's lots of things happening in the Zen space. X1 at 150 nodes and raising. So this is kind of the final test net before the go live, right? The live master. So kind of cool. What else we got going? Let's see. So got lots of cool things happening there. Let me just go up here. Now there are some different posts around showing that things are getting very close with X1. 10th of December, X1 testnet on track to achieve 10 billion transactions by end of the year. So that's testing is going very well, and there have been allusions to X1 launching there on the Q1. So getting excited about that. The other thing is that Sol Zen is getting burned, right? So Sol Zen is on the rise. So yeah, we've got a big boost here, 23% on Sol Zen. So that's going good. So burning on that chain is going very successful. What else are we seeing here? Zen itself is sitting at 6 euros 1300, down 2.9. So let's have a quick look at the Zen price, because that will rally a lot, right? So it had a big pump, remember, on the news of X1, I think it was, and then it had its sell off there. So you got another opportunity to pick up Zen for cheap. That's pretty much it. And Logway at the moment, way cheaper picking it up now probably than minting it or anything and waiting, all that sort of stuff. So there's an opportunity right there, as we say. Sol Zen, obviously another opportunity. Now you won't, as far as I know, get Zen XN coin credits. So X1 has the XEN chain, so you won't probably want those credits, but you can speculate on the token itself, which is doing not too badly there. Now Zen Cat, of course, is another popular meme coin. It's back in consolidating, expecting that to probably be the #1 meme coin X1 as well. So TikTok, it's time to rock. Now obviously Sol's in there, pumped pretty hard, and that's had a good day in the office. Look at that, 23%, not bad. All right, so that is some highlights there. Expecting some cool things happening there with X1 coming in the new year. So we'll talk more about that. Get into Strategy Club if you want to get more news flow there. All right, how's that going? Let's see where we're up to here. We got DJ and HEX going to house there. Superman, lots of love. A big shout out to you. Hope you had a good Christmas and New Year's party coming up soon. New Year's party. Ben Miller says, good evening, Superman and Directorate family. A big shout out to you, Ben, and congratulations, Ben. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you for your service. That's all we're going to say. Big shout out to Ben there. New mine and house there. HEX token is my coin Wall Street. Wall Street something. Starlight or something like that. Hey, thanks very much for that, New mine. Appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. 1 hour and 6 minutes. Man, oh man, what a lot of fun. We're still looking pretty good with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Still looking good for altcoin season. Pulsechain looking fabulous. Remember, Pulsechain is the main thing that I generally want people to get involved with. Obviously, do your investment due diligence, all that stuff. We still have the court case overhanging, but we do have a lot of bullish things. Maybe the PDI maker theory plays out, looking very promising. Maybe the obviously the Magic Cup ride with the Ethereum, things like that. And of course, you guys know Pulse goes to 2x, the whole chain gets re-rated, all things equal, right? So remember that's a very, very clever way. And if the P-maker theory plays out, then you're going to add tens of billions of dollars to the chain, and very quickly things start to re-rate pretty fast. So a lot of fun there. All right, and of course we talked about Mafia, the #1 GameFi, the first metaverse on Pulsechain. GameFi going to be top, obviously the top GameFi. It's going to be pretty fun there, and it is ramping up. We see the in-game cash ramping up. Mafia is there for the taking, and so is the land crates, right? So a lot of opportunity there. Get into that. It's going to be cool. And of course, TitanX buying the bottom at the moment, looks like. So it does look like it's sort of consolidating a little bit, still in that support range down the last couple of days, but definitely opportunity there for the ride back up. And the ride back up, it's always good to buy low and buy high and sell high, right? This kind of play. Now, what else are we going to say? Obviously, for TitanX, we've got some big things coming. We've got obviously the Ouroboros lending protocol. That's going to be huge. And I think that's going to really help with the catalyst for the farm. Obviously, we've got more stuff coming from the mystery project there for DragonX, and lots more coming for Vault with the wheel and with the utilities. A lot more coming for X28 Shogun and things like that with protocols building on top. There's going to be quite an awesome roadmap there. Was it well over 30 projects still coming down the line. And the next project, of course, is coming overnight. Is going to be next project is going to be, let me just quickly check, is Godex. Godex coming. That's in 13 hours. So Godex is launching in 13 hours and 50 minutes. So that's going to be pretty impressive. It is going to be TitanX Godex. So it's going to be pretty cool. And it will be feeding the Flux pool as well. So there we go. And Inferno, buy and burn. So and Phoenix as well. So it looks like Flux, Phoenix, and Inferno getting a lot of benefit there, as well as TitanX, and of course the main token itself, Godex, that is launching in the next 12 hours. So there we go. Some cool things happening on that space. And finally, X20, X1 in Q1. That could be a huge change. First fork of Solana with all the high tech latest stuff in there, IGN layer, all that good stuff. It's going to have the XEN coin. It's going to have XNM and super blocks and all sorts of things over there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And maybe some mad gains, tens of X's, maybe hundreds of X's potentially, if it reaches like even a 10 billion on market. Let's target 1 billion, but if there's 10 billion quite easily, it could be up to the races. So look forward to that. All right. Yeah, if you haven't joined Strategy Club, links in the video description, $35 a month. Get all the intel as we get it. And then, of course, if you want to join just the Discord, that's $5 a month. And it's a cup of coffee. So see you there. All right, take care, everybody. And don't forget to join the Directorate family. That's the one that I'm the consigliere of. And, of course, you can find that on the Mafia page. Hit us up and, apply to join our family at the right time. Always good to get in early. All right, take care, everybody. And bye for now. I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.